some of the, so this first page looks very simple, right? Can you guys see that okay?
Yes.
Okay, have you looked at the script yet?
No, I haven't.
Okay, so let me explain a little bit about it. The only paragraph on this entire script, the whole beginning part, is this paragraph right here. Very small, you see?
Yes.
That's really the only paragraph. The rest of this is questions. It's almost more like a survey in the beginning. The purpose of it being a survey is this allows you guys to establish control of the call before you start going over products, pricing, and trying to actually get them to buy something. This gives you 5 to 8 minutes of the client sitting on the phone and answering questions you're asking them. So you've established 5 to 8 minutes of control before you go into the pitch, before you go into anything else. Make sense?
Yes.
So have you done an outbound campaign like this before? Have you done a lead generation campaign or a sales campaign, anything like that?
Yes, we have done that.
Perfect. So I'm going to give you just some little tips here on the very first line. So Mike, I'm going to pick on you for a little bit here. Read the first line of the script, very first at the very top.
Hello, is the owner available?
Very simple, right?
Yep.
So most of the time when you're saying that to people, it's going to be a receptionist, right?
Right.
So I'll tell you, the main point is to dial the phone a lot and ask that question over and over and over and over again, and someone's going to say, yes, this is the owner. And then you got to go right in. But most of the time you're going to get receptionists. A lot of receptionists are not going to let you through. Be prepared for that. But there are habits that you can get in the, there are things you can get in the habit of doing that will improve your odds of getting through. So in order to understand what's going to improve your odds, you got to really understand the point of a receptionist, which I'm sure you already do. But what's the point of the receptionist? What is his or her job?
Well, it's filter on the calls.
Filter the calls, right?
Yep.
And how do they filter the calls?
By asking what's the purpose of your call?
Exactly, by asking questions.
Right.
So there's receptionists out there of all different levels and qualifications.
Okay, got it.
Hello? Hi, I can hear you there.
That's Evo.
Mm-hmm. Hi.
Hi, Evo.
Mm-hmm.
The way you weed out the weaker receptionists is to make them have to ask you more questions in order to make a decision of whether you're someone they should be talking to or not talking to. The more questions you can make them ask you, the better chance and opportunity you have of getting to someone else. It's pretty easy to understand.
Right.
So, Mike, I'm going to have you read that line. I'm going to throw a couple things at you, and I want to just hear naturally what you would do without any real training on what direction. I just want to hear naturally what you would automatically do, okay?
Sorry, which part?
The very first line, the hello, is the owner available?
Okay.
So go ahead and ask.
Hello, is the owner available?
Who is this?
This is Michael.
Okay, and why are you calling?
I'm calling because I want to talk to the owner regarding an advertising campaign.
Ooh. Thank you, Michael, but I think we're all good on advertising. Click. Now,
well,
okay,
you've done your job.
Now, so first of all, you did something right away that most people when I talk to don't do. Okay? I asked, who is this? And you didn't say, oh, my name is Mike, and I handle local map listings on the front page of Google, Yahoo, and Bing for your business type in an area, and a position's come available on the front page. I'm going to see if you qualify to fill the listing space. People do that all the time.
Yeah.
One of the things I want to hammer into everyone's head is that paragraph right there. You have to avoid reading that paragraph to anybody that is not the owner. That paragraph is for the owner and only the owner. You read that to a receptionist, you might as well just say, hi there, I'm trying to tell you something, so can you please hang up on me right now? And they
that's right.
They will gladly hang up on you.
Right. Yeah, you don't want to pitch to the receptionist.
Exactly. So hello, is the owner available? Who is this?
It's
This is Chris. Now also, when you answer
I
that
tested
question,
it, and it did reload it. Sorry.
No big deal. So when I ask you that question, I leave a long pause because a lot of times there's a long pause. And in the beginning, that silence helps you because that silence is what forces the receptionist to ask you another question, right?
Right. Right.
So if there's a long silence, but then you get uncomfortable and you start saying something else, you're giving yourself up. You have to stay strong on that point. The point is the more questions you can get in the habit of having a receptionist ask you, the better chances you have of getting through. Some of those receptionists, when they say, hello, is the owner available, and they say who it is, and you say, this is Chris, and you don't say anything else, some of them literally will be like, hold on, I have Chris on the phone? Okay, hold on, Chris, and they'll just put you through.
Right.
Because you didn't give them the information they actually need to figure out if you're someone that should be going through or not going through.
Right.
Next question is, why are you calling? So I want you to, there's one simple line, okay? Now this line is either going to get you hung up on or it's going to get a follow-up question that will most likely get you through. So again, I don't want you reading the paragraph. I want you just to say something simple like, I'm calling about their Google listing. I need you to use the word their. There's a reason for that. If you use the word their, so they say, why are you calling? You say, I'm calling about their Google listing.
Right.
This will do one of two things. They'll either say, don't worry about it, we're okay. Click, they'll hang up, you move on. Now the good thing too is you got the hang up out of the way quick. You didn't waste a lot of time with that phone call, you can make another one.
Right.
The other people might say, oh, okay, well is this something they already have? Well guess what? It is something they already have. Almost every business out there has a Google listing whether they know it or not. Within about 2 weeks of them being in business, usually some type of listing on Google is created. It's created by Google scrapers. They automatically find them. They create some kind of a small listing. It doesn't do anything for them. It doesn't end up anywhere important, but it exists. Make sense?
Yes.
So they ask, is this something you already have? They already have. You can say, yes, it is. Another habit I want you to stay away from is continually asking that person if the owner's available. I hear that a lot too. They'll continually ask that question. Well, is the owner available? This is Chris. Is the owner there? I'm just calling about their Google listing. Are you the owner?
Okay.
You already asked that question. They understand that you're trying to get to the owner.
Right.
If you keep asking that over and over again, it doesn't give them a very warm, good feeling about who's on the phone. Typically makes them go, oh, something's not right here. I don't think I'm going to let you talk to anyone else. So creating those breaks and pauses, the silence, shows you are confident.
Right.
And you're saying, yeah, I'm Chris. Ask me another question. That's going to help. And then not continually asking that question and not divulging too much information to the receptionist right away. Good?
Okay.
Okay. That's the first habit. So now, Mike, I want you to read me the paragraph.
The My Name Chris site?
Yeah. You can say your own name, and when it says, I handle local map listings on the front page of Google, Yahoo, and Bing 4, and it just says DFHG, just make up an industry or say whatever you want, yeah.
Okay.
It's just gibberish that I've typed in here.
My name is Mike, and I handle local map listings on the front page of Google, Yahoo, and Bing for auto repairs. A position on the front page has become available, and I'm going to see if your business qualifies to be on the front page.
Okay, good. I want you to read it again and faster.
My name is Mike, and I handle local map listings on the front page of Google, Yahoo, Bing for auto repairs. A position on the front page has become available, and I'm going to see if your business qualifies to be on the front page.
Now that time you read it louder, but you didn't read it faster.
Okay.
So read it almost as fast as you can for the first couple times looking at the paragraph. How fast can you read it? I want to hear it.
Okay, let me try. My name is Mike, and I handle local map listings on the front page of Google, Yahoo, Bing for auto repairs. A position on the front page has become available, and I'm going to see if your business qualifies to be on the front page. Is that fast enough?
Perfect. Perfect. Now I want to explain something about the way this paragraph is written. If you realize it's written in a way that might not exactly flow the best, right? It says front page twice in that sentence.
Yeah.
It's written that way for a reason. It's supposed to be read fairly quickly. My name is Chris, and I handle local map listings on the front page of Google, Yahoo, and Bing for your business type in your area. A position on the front page has come available. I'm going to see if your business qualifies to be on the front page, and I see your address is 123 Main Street. Is that correct?
That's right. Okay. I got it.
So if you notice, I read the paragraph pretty darn quick, and then I slow down, and I go into the address.
Right.
So what you're doing now is you're playing a mental trick on this person. You're funneling them into answering the question about the address.
Right.
They heard the paragraph, but they didn't hear all of it. They heard Google, they heard Bing, they heard a position, they heard front page, maybe they heard available, but they didn't catch every single word. So while they're trying to decode exactly what you said, and then you slow down and you ask them a really basic question like, your address is 123 Main Street, is that correct? Naturally, they're going to say yes to that question because they're still thinking. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So there's a couple habits I want you to get into the habit of doing here. So 123 Main Street, Laguna Hills, California.
So when I'm dialing, this address automatically populates, right?
Sometimes. Not every single lead will automatically populate.
Oh, okay.
But whatever listing you're calling, you're going to have the address anyway.
Okay.
So you can just cut and paste it in there. A lot of times it'll populate. It just depends.
Mm-hmm.
But be prepared for it maybe not to populate. Cut and paste. Very simple. Let's say it's Chris Auto Repair. Oops. Okay, so couple things. Chris Auto Repair. So a couple habits, again, I need you to get used to doing. One, important you try to get as many yeses out of this person as possible. Okay, so remember, you just read them this paragraph. They didn't quite understand everything you said. And you're going to be asking them for something on this page. What I mean by asking them for something is you're going to be asking for their name. So they'll have no problem when you say your address is 123 Main Street, correct? Yes.
Right.
That's in Laguna Hills, California, correct? Yes.
Right.
The zip code is 92653, is that correct? Yes. I have your business name as Chris's Auto Repair, is that correct? Yes. And I have your industry as auto repair, obviously, is that correct? Yes. Can I start with your first name? So for one thing, if you noticed, I split the address into 3 yeses.
Right.
123 Main Street, correct? Yes. Laguna Hills, California, correct? Yes. 92653, correct? Yes. Important. All you did was confirm the address, but you made it a little more time. You made him say yes a few more times. And even though all you're doing is confirming address, business name, and the type of industry, when they say yes 5 times, they feel like you know more about them. Also, you've got a couple extra yeses before you ask them for something, because be prepared. When you ask them for something, you're going to encounter an objection most of the time. So Mike, if I got to that part and I said, okay, and what's your first name? What type of objection do you think you're going to run into?
Let's see. So if you ask me, you might say, I'm not interested.
He might say, I'm not interested.
Good.
Most of the time, he's going to say, what is this about again? Why are you calling?
That's true.
What's going on here? Because he doesn't quite know, and he's going to remember that he didn't understand everything you said right when you ask him for something.
Right. So he said, well, what's this about again, or something like that, right?
Exactly. So what would you say?
Well, just repeat that, right? We handle local map listing on the front page of Google, Yahoo, Bing for auto repairs. The position on the front page has become available. I'm going to see if your business qualifies.
Now, that's what I was hoping you'd say, because that's most of the habits that people have.
Okay.
I wouldn't repeat that paragraph at him.
Okay.
He doesn't need to understand everything in that paragraph. It's not even built for that. You can give him a short version. And now you're going to start putting to work a different thing you need to get used to for the beginning of this script. The other thing you need to get used to for the beginning of this script is how to always end with a question and be continually asking these questions over and over again. Okay? So when they say, what is this about again, give them a short version. I'm just seeing if you qualify to be on the front page of Google. What was your first name? Well, I'm already on Google. I totally understand. Almost all companies are on Google. I'm just seeing if you qualify to be on the front page of Google. What's your first name?
Right.
Well, is this going to take a lot of time? I understand you're busy and it's only going to take a few moments. What was your first name? I don't know if I have time for this. I totally understand. I know you own a business and it's only going to take a few minutes. What was your first name?
Right. Always come back to the questions. Try to complete the process, but handle the objection and bring them back.
Always. Now, here's a key thing, okay? This is a really important thing for you guys to remember. Most people, when they start doing this type of campaign, when someone starts asking them questions, they become fearful. They become fearful that, oh, if I don't give them the answer right now, I'm going to get hung up on. It is the exact opposite. The unanswered questions these people have are their motivation to stay on the phone. Without unanswered questions, there would be no reason for them to really want to talk to you. The reason they continue to talk to you and stay on the phone is because there's something they're asking. There's something they want to know. Even if they're just asking you a question because they think they can get an answer and hang up on you, if you don't give them the answer, they won't hang up on you. Some of these people are so scared of being rude that they will not hang up on you no matter what. There are people out there that are so scared to hang up on you, they will actually buy to get off the phone because they don't know any other way to do it. I can't even tell you how many times that's happened to me.
Right.
So let's practice a little bit of this, okay? So we're going to move to the next page. Let's say you already got the guy's name. Let's move to the next page. Let's get used to how simple these objections are. Hang on just one second, guys.
Hey, Evo.
Mike?
Evo, are you there?
Yeah, I'm listening.
Okay, so I'll have you take over, answer Chris's questions. And just
Ooh, I don't know. I was having fun with this, Mike. I was having fun making you do it.
With me? Okay. No, I love it. So
I was having a good time.
Chris is going to be making the call, so Evo's going to be making the call, so I want to make sure she does it. So,
Evo, you ready?
Sure. No, tell me when you are.
Okay, so look at some of these questions on this page. They're pretty basic, right? Do you have a website? What's your email address? How many years you've been in business? Where do you currently get your clients from? How much you currently investing per month on your advertising and marketing? Very basic questions, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what are some objections you think you might run into? Obviously, there's some right here on the side. Don't have time. How much is it going to cost? They ask you 2 times in a row how much it's going to cost. I'm already on Google. AdWords, not really going to run into that very much. Are you Google? You'll get that.
Mm-hmm.
Why are you calling? What is this about? You're going to get these type of things, right?
That's correct.
So let's examine a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Well, the most scenario where you encountered business-to-business calls is especially not just why are you calling me, but I don't want to receive a phone call like this.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Now, here's something to keep in mind, okay? And it's something you guys need to also remember. The guy who gets 3 sales a day, okay?
Mm-hmm.
He calls 300 plus people, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which means he gets 3 yeses and 297 nos. 297 receptionists that hang up. 297 people that say they don't want to buy. 297 people that don't let him go through the script. 297 people he can't get the traction he needs with.
Mm-hmm.
Which means what these things do is it's a habit. If you have this as a habit and you continually use it, you will get more people through. You will get people to buy. You will have longer conversations. And you will be in better control of the call.
Mm-hmm.
So look at something real basic, okay? I'm going to ask you how long you've been in business. I want you to ask me how much is this going to cost. And ask me a few times in a row. And then I'll explain kind of the mental side of what's going on, okay?
All right.
So how many years have you been in business?
So I've been in the business like 5 years.
Okay, I'm going to ask you, how long have you been in business? You start haggling me and trying to get me to tell you a price. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. So you're going to ask me how many years do I've been to a business, and then you'll. One more thing. I just want to verify. Am I the customer and you're the agent?
Yes. You're the
Okay.
customer. So
All
you're
right.
going to be like, look, just tell me how much it costs.
Okay, so
See what I'm
direct
saying?
to the point. Yes, direct to the point.
You're going to try to be getting me to give you a price now, okay? So
Sure, sure.
how many years have you been in business?
How much?
Are you asking me for a price?
Yes, I am asking.
I'll be able to get to that in just one moment. How many years have you been in business?
I've been into the business within 4 years now.
Man, you gave up really easy. That was easy. That was a pretty easy objection. Look at that. One time, done. Try that again.
Okay.
How long have you been in business?
Why are you asking me those questions? I'm busy. I'm not
Just
available
a couple
right
questions to see if you qualify. How long have you been in business?
now. I'm sorry. I don't have much time to talk to you today. I need to go.
I understand you don't have very much time. You're a business owner. I'm sure your time is valuable, so only take another moment. How long have you been in business?
Well, actually, I have a time, but I don't want to spend much time talking to you.
I totally understand where you're coming from, and I'll be able to get to the interesting part in just a moment. How long have you been in business?
Why you're calling me? You should know about it.
I don't know everything about your business, even though I know some things. That's why I have to ask. How long have you been in business?
Can you put me on a do not call list? I don't want to have this conversation again.
I can if you'd like to, but you might be very interested in the information I have for you. So how long have you been in business?
So what information you want to tell me?
I'll be able to get to that in just one moment. How long have you been in business?
I don't have exactly in my mind, but you want a roughly estimate of a year I've been staying with my business?
Said a little over a year?
I guess.
Great. And where do you get most of your clients from? You see what I'm saying? You just have to not give up. And you
Yes,
have to
that's
not
correct.
answer their questions. That's the habit you need to get in. That's what you have to get in the habit of doing. So think of this from a mental standpoint, okay? As I was doing that to you, you started running out of things to use as an objection, right?
Right.
You were trying to throw as many things at me as possible there, and then at the end you decided to kind of answer it because you were thinking of what other objection can I give him? What else can I say? And you run out. You run out of things to say. So once you run out of things to say, what's easier? Is it easier then to make up a new question, or is it easier just to answer the one you already know the answer to? You know how long you've been in business. So what
That's
becomes
correct.
easier? It
Um,
becomes easier to answer the question, right?
that's correct.
So
Because
you're going to end up getting into these little battles, okay? What you need to remember about these little battles is the person that answers the question is the one who is ultimately going to lose. So if they keep asking you a question and you decide to answer it, you are the one who is ultimately going to lose the battle. If they're asking you a question continuously and you get them to answer your question, you are going to win. It's a little battle.
That's correct.
Hang on one second. Okay. So it's very important you always end with a question and you do not answer theirs. Every point,
Yeah.
most
Yeah.
phone calls you get to, you're going to get to a little point where there's a battle. And the battle is going to be, it could be one objection. It could be, how much is this going to cost? I'll be able to get to that in just one moment. How long have you been in business? look, man, just tell me how much it's going to cost so I can figure out if us even talking is worth it. I totally understand where you're coming from, and I'll be able to get to it in just one moment. How long have you been in business? Look, I'm not going to answer another question until you tell me how much it costs. I totally understand, and I'll be able to give you the exact pricing in just a moment. How long have you been in business?
Mm-hmm.
And you keep just not talking. After you ask the question, just shut up. Let them decide. Right?
Mm-hmm.
That's when the guy goes, okay, whatever. I've been in business for 5 years. Once he answers that question, bam. Now you just quickly ask him all the other ones. Okay, great. And where do you get most of your customers from? Great. How much are you investing per month on your advertising and marketing? That's great. Do you want potential customers to find you on the front page of Google? Now, right there, you ask that question, he's going to ask you how much it costs again. Right?
Just to end the conversation, right? He will gonna answer all the questions.
Possibly. Do you want potential customers to find you on the front page of Google? Well, how much is it going to cost? That depends. Do you want to be there locally or nationally? That's the next question. Now you just tricked him into answering 2 questions at once. Will it be locally? Great. Can you handle an increase in business? Keep going. Right here on this page of the script is the only time that if someone asks you something about price, there's a different way of handling it. Every other part of the script, if someone asks you about price, you're going to use this. I just have a few more questions and I can get to the exact pricing, or I'll be able to get to that in just one moment. Next question. That's all you need for price. That's it. But if they ask you here, you say, do you want potential customers to find you on the front page of Google? And they say, how much is? Ask them the next question. Would you like your business to be on the front page locally or nationally? If he says, well, locally, great. That means yes, he wants the front page, and yes, he wants to be there locally. Ask him the next question. Can you handle an increase in business? Make sense?
Yep.
Okay. What other questions can you guys formulate just from our little talk right now? What are the things you guys maybe have in mind? Might be a question.
Are you affiliated with Google?
Okay, so look right here. Are you Google, right? Google doesn't contact the public. It's up to a company like ours to contact you.
Okay,
Make it
so
super simple. Google doesn't contact the public. It's up to companies like us to do that. Would you like to find yourself on the front page of Google?
okay, make
Google
Google
doesn't
call me.
contact the public. It's up to companies like us. How long have you been in business?
Okay, do you have a phone number that I can call to?
I do. We're almost complete, though. How long have you been in business?
Always get back to the point of interruption. That's
Yeah,
good.
always get back to asking him a question.
So you'll find the answer once you ask that kind of question.
Here's what it comes down to, guys. If they're talking to you on the phone, and they answered the phone, and they are answering a question or two, when they say they don't have time, for lack of better words, well, actually, I won't even say it. They're full of it. They're full of it. They're talking to you. Unless you can hear the customers in line, and they're like, can you help me? Look, man, I really got to go. I got a bunch of customers here. Hey, understand, you're calling business owners. That's going to happen. A lot of times, and they're like, oh, I'm really busy. He's not busy. He's sitting. He's sitting in his auto body shop with his feet up because he's got no customers that day.
Yeah.
He picked up a phone. He picked up the phone call. Here's something you guys got to remember. What do you do for a living, Evo? What is your job?
I work as account manager.
You work as an account manager.
What
tool do you use? What tool do you use all day for work? Is it a phone?
It's a computer, Skype.
Computer? Skype?
Yeah.
And your agents, what are they doing? What do they do for a living?
They will call for you. Oh, actually, they will just work for you and provide you what you need.
They call people. They work on the phone, correct?
That's correct.
So most agents feel intimidated when they're calling business owners. But what they don't realize is the ones who are truly intimidated are the business owners. The reason they hang up, the reason they're standoffish, is because they're afraid they're going to buy things. That's the truth.
That's
That's the
correct.
real truth. So the one that's actually to be feared is you guys, the guys on the phone. You work on the phone for a living. This auto body mechanic in Bozeman, Montana, he doesn't work on the phone for a living. He fixes cars for a living, which means you have a distinct advantage over that guy, whether you know it or not. Your advantage is the ball is in your court. Calling him, you're asking him questions, he's the one who's scared. He's the one who's scared he might end up buying something. Remember
Yeah,
that. A big part of
that's
not
right.
getting your agents to feel intimidated is to get it hammered into their head that they're the ones to be feared, not the business owner. Don't worry about the business owner. There's millions of them to call.
That's correct.
Okay? Now, another common problem that you're going to run into with the agents, and this only happens in the first few days of dialing. Do you guys know what the word continuity means? As it would relate to the script, what continuity means. You might know, you might not.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm asking, do you know what the word annuity means as it would relate to the script? Mike,
Yeah.
do you know
No,
what
I don't. No, I
continuity
don't.
means as
No, I
a
don't know what
structure?
continuity means in this context.
That's correct.
So this is what it would mean in this context. It would mean when you ask someone a question, you already know what they're going to say. You already know what you're going to say after that. There's no surprises. You have an answer for everything. You're already 2 questions ahead no matter where you are. Right?
Okay.
You've done it so many times. You know everything front to back.
Mhm.
You can almost have your eyes closed, juggling, and do this because you already know everything you're going to do.
Because you do it 300 times a day.
You've done it so many times, you know
Yeah.
it all.
Okay.
No one stumps you. Nothing intimidates you. You know what you're doing, right?
Okay. So continuity means maintaining the flow and just keep going.
Yeah. Continuity means being so comfortable, you know
Okay.
everything.
All right.
You're not going to have continuity right now. None of your agents will have continuity. They're going to feel like they don't know what they're doing is really what it's going to feel like.
Right.
They're going to get on the phone and someone's going to be like, are you Google? And they're going to stumble a little bit, and that guy's going to eat them alive the first day.
Right.
They got to be ready for that.
Right.
You guys got to remember that the faster they get on the phone and fail for a little bit, that means they're learning at an accelerated rate.
Right.
The faster they can get through the failures, the faster they won't fail anymore.
Right.
So they have to get on and just be relentless. Now you can make up for that lack of continuity with personal confidence and aggression. You guys know there are agents that are more confident than others.
Right.
Guess who does better? Who do you think does better? The agent that's just blindly confident and knows he can do it and do a good job? Or the agent that's scared and doesn't think he can do a good job? Who do you think does better?
Of course, they.
Pretty simple question, right? Of course, the confident guy does better.
Yeah.
The guy who's like, oh, I did a campaign
Correct.
before that was like this. I did really good. This is going to be a breeze. That guy does a great job. That guy doesn't have a problem just asking questions over and over again. He's not intimidated. I can't give you guys or your agents confidence. That's something they have to do on their own.
Right.
I can give them training. I can direct them in the right way they're supposed to go through this. But confidence comes from within. So you guys as managers, as leads, you need to build that confidence in your agents, whether they're doing a killer job on their first day or whether they're flopping on their first day. Either way, if they're doing a great job and they get sales their first day, awesome. But the guy who got hung up on a lot and didn't get any sales made just as much progress that day. That's what everybody has to remember. They need to get used to hearing no. They need to get excited about hearing a bunch of no's in a row. The more no's you hear and the faster you hear them, the faster you're getting to someone that is not going to say no. Does that make sense?
Yes.
These are habits you need to remember with the guys. They're things that you need to get them to get excited about. Hey man, I just heard 50 no's. I'm getting closer. I just heard 50 no's means I'm not going to hear no pretty soon. That means I'm getting closer to getting the deal. Right?
Right. Right.
You guys just need to instill some confidence in the agents. You need to have them believe that they can do it before they hit the phones.
Right.
And even more importantly, after the first day, you need to have them still believing they can do it.
Yep.
Typically, so I want to give you guys a little backstory on this script, okay? So here's first page, you already know. Second page, you already know. Third page, you have seen. Fourth page, just a few more questions. What city do you want to be on the front page of Google in? Do you have multiple locations? What keyword are you most interested in getting the front page for? Now you are entering part 2. Part 2 we'll talk about in a different training. This is when you're getting to the sale. Now I want you to know something about all of part 1. Part 1, I have 1,100 people on the phone right now that only do part 1. I've had a campaign with part 1 for a long time. Part 1 is just a transfer. So we have offices in the United States that receive transfers. The transfer campaign has been full for a lot of months. I have no reason to grow it. It's got 1,100 people on it, and it just runs itself. Okay? What
Okay.
I'm trying to get you to understand is I have 1,100 people that call out and read that, and they get 10, 12, 15, 17 of them a day. These people have barely any lead gen experience. They have no sales experience, and they can get 15 people through the day and then have them transferred to someone else. What that means for you guys is you can have 15 people a day that you can pitch. You can pitch on something that costs them $1, and they're guaranteed to show up within 30 days. Before they even make their next payment, they're guaranteed to show up. That's a no-brainer. If you can have 15 people to pitch a day doing this, you will get 3 to 5 deals doing that. If you have 5 people to pitch a day, you'll get 1 or 2. So the more you can master the beginning part of this, the more you can master the opening, the more receptionists you can get through, the more owners you can continually ask the questions and push through the script, the more deals you are going to get. Make sense?
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Does anybody have questions for me? Let's go.
I think I still have questions on the beginning. How do you get past a gatekeeper? So when you when they were asking, you know, what is this about? When you're talking to the receptionist. So are you the owner? Can I talk to the owner? So you just keep asking that until they transfer you.
So remember, you don't need to keep asking that. So the whole rest of the script, this is going to sound confusing. The whole rest of the script, once you have an owner on the phone, you need to just keep asking the questions over and over and over and over again. Before you have an owner on the phone, you need to give quick answers and then shut up.
Okay.
Because for the business owner, you want him to answer your questions. For the receptionist, you're trying to get her to ask you questions. Or you're trying to get him to ask you questions. So the way you're going to get them to ask you questions by giving them very small answers and then not talking anymore. It's that silence that makes them ask you another question.
Got it.
Now remember what I said. The guy who gets 3 sales, here's 297 no's. The guy who gets 3 sales may have 200 receptionists that say, nope, don't worry about it. Click. Be prepared for that. There's nothing that is going to get you through every time.
Okay.
But you need to look at what has a better statistical advantage over thousands of phone calls. What will get you through more? And I already know the answer to that because I've had this script in action for a year and a half with thousands and thousands of dialed and used.
Okay naman, oh.
So I already know
Bakit
what
ayaw? Oh.
script, which means you guys just got to follow my lead on this one and believe in it, and it'll work.
Okay.
I'd probably like you guys to practice with this during the day,
Uh-huh.
even if you don't have all the agents there. I'd like you guys to practice this a bit. Get used to it. Get used to knowing what questions are coming up. Make sense?
Yep. How do we practice this? Just with each other?
With each other. Yeah.
Okay.
You practice it by throwing objections at each other. Don't make it
Okay.
easy to get through the script.
Okay.
But also, don't make it impossible.
Right.
Don't just sit there and say, I want to go on the do not call list. I want to go on the do not call list. I want to go on the do not call list. Because guess what? In a real life scenario, when the guy says, put me on the do not call list, you are most likely not getting anywhere. Guy says, put me on the do not call list. Most of the time, you're going to say, no problem, and you're going to hang up. Right?
Okay. Yeah.
You want to argue with that
So
guy?
how many-
Have him get mad at you?
Yeah, so I just want to ask how many times you are allowed to continue, pitching when the customers say, "Do not put me on a do not call list," because basically that is.
In reality,
Mhm.
we don't have a qualification for that. You can do it as much as you want. But
Are,
you're
Mhm.
going to waste your time. You got to work smart. So the guys who are like, look, put me on the do not call list. I don't want to get calls from you anymore. You can say, hey,
just-
I understand, and I'll go ahead and do that. Would you like me to see if you qualify for the front page of Google? No. Good. Click. Move on.
Okay. Good thing I asked is we need to implement that one as well.
Okay, there doesn't have to be a set guideline for that. But when someone wants to be on the do not call list, most time just move on. And most of those people, what they don't understand is when they have publicly listed phone numbers that are for a business, there really isn't even a do not call list for that. But just tell them no problem and move on. That guy's going to waste your time.
At least ask one question.
This campaign is not about how do I get through the guy who wants the do not call list. How do I get through the guy that's not interested and hangs up on me right away? You don't. You get through those people by dialing through them. The more people you dial, the more people like that you dial through, you'll get to someone that isn't like that. You'll get to someone that may take the time to hear you out. And that guy who said, put me on the do not call list, he tells that to companies every day. Some of the people you sell are that guy. You just don't know it because they took the time to ask you a question and decide to talk to you this time. Some of these people say, put me on the do not call list for a year. And all of a sudden someone calls them and they go, okay, what is this about? Then they buy. That's a guy that for a year has been telling all kinds of companies, put me on the do not call list. What that guy is, he might not be a customer now. He's a future customer down the road when he's in a different state and he's willing to talk on the phone for a minute. If he wants to be on the do not call list now, leave him alone. Move on to someone who isn't going to treat you that way.
Makes sense. Okay, so today I will do
Also
part.
do this. I'm
So
going to send you guys something too. This is a link. What this link will do is if someone is adamant about being the do not call list, you can pull up this link and you can put them on the do not call list.
how do I access that link? I think it just flashed by.
It's on your chat.
Let's see, where is the chat? Where is it?
It's on the chat, the GoToMeeting chat.
Oh, I got it.
That's a link that you can put people on the do not call list. People that are adamant about it, do it, whatever. And then we won't deal with them anymore. Just be professional. Don't be rude. Someone wants to be on the do not call list. The worst thing you can do is be rude to them.
Right, right.
Okay, so if I were you guys, I would practice this amongst yourself.
Okay.
Start getting used to the script. Start getting used to the methods that I've taught you. I'm going to do a quick recap. It'll just take a second. So one of the more important things to take from this training, in the beginning here, the key is to make the receptionist ask you questions. The key here on the paragraph, read it quickly, read it quickly, and then slow down and go into the address. Only read it to an owner. When you get to the address, break it up into 3 parts, get more yeses. And then for the rest of the script, the game is about not answering their questions and always ending with a question. Pretty simple, right?
Right.
Yes.
All right, guys. You guys start practicing. I do these webinars pretty much every morning. The webinars I do are always on the open. There's another webinar typically at around 1 p.m.
Okay.
1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time that goes over the second part and goes over objections and rebuttals for closing, some of the better techniques to pull credit cards, that type of thing, how to
Great.
use the guarantee to your advantage, these type of things.
Okay.
So I had a good time with you guys. Put this
Same
stuff
here.
to work, start practicing, and I will talk to you again soon.
Thanks a lot, Chris.
Thanks, Chris.
No problem, guys.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Appreciate it. Bye-bye.